We talk a lot about new varieties of vegetables and annuals, different flowers, perennials, but seldom do we talk about new turfgrass cultivars. And joining us today is Dr. Dennis Martin. And Dennis, welcome to Oklahoma Gardening.
Thank you, Steve.
Dennis is our turfgrass extension specialist, and he's going to bring us up to date on some new releases of turfgrass. Dennis, tell me about one of the ones over here behind me.
All right, well, that's a very exciting new release called Midfield Bermuda grass. It is a relatively fine textured Bermuda grass that is very cold hardy and has very good resistance to spring dead spot.
Okay, now who has worked in releasing this particular cultivar?
The Midfield is a joint release between Oklahoma State University and Kansas State University.
Okay, now is that the same with the one behind you over here?
Yes, Mid-Lawn to our left here was a joint release as well between Kansas State and Oklahoma State University. It's much finer textured than is Midfield, but still has very good winter hardiness.
Okay. All right, what about the one up here in front of us?
The grass that we see in front of us here that has this very nice dark green color is called Tifton 10 Bermuda grass. It's medium coarse textured, and although we haven't tested it extensively at OSU, it has survived some cold winters in other areas of the country. One good thing to show about Tifton 10 is it is an example that not all TIF series Bermuda grasses are fine textured.
Okay, and who released this one?
This was released out of the Tifton Agricultural Experiment Station in Georgia.
Okay, now there's another variety you wanted to talk about that's not here close to us. What about it?
Okay, that variety is Vermont Bermuda grass. It's a very cold hardy Bermuda grass as well, medium coarse in texture, a little bit lighter green than is the Tifton 10, but certainly well adapted for use in Oklahoma.
Okay. Now I notice on all of these cultivars you're using the word vegetative. Tell us a little bit about what you mean by that and what that would mean for someone who's going to purchase these.
All right. What vegetative means is that the Bermuda grass is propagated strictly by vegetative means, such as sod, sprigs, stolons, or plugs, that there would be no seed available for that material.
Okay. Now, are these cultivars here available now, or how easy is it to find some of these?
All right, the Tifton 10 is available now as sod. So is the Vermont. The Mid-Lawn and Midfield were just released last year, so the sod grower is still in the process of blowing those materials up, and they should be available later this summer.
Okay. Now, you've got some over here you want to show us that are propagated by seed, I guess.
That's right.
Okay, let's go take a look at those. Now, Dennis, the varieties that we're going to talk about now, we can actually purchase the seed and plant it. What about this one that we're on here?
All right, this is Sunrise Zoysia grass, and it is the first seeded zoysia grass. Up until this point, one had to purchase plugs or sod of zoysia if they wanted a zoysia lawn.
Is it pretty slow to cover like normal zoysia?
It is a slow grower, but because it is available as seed, we can seed it thickly and get a quick stand of zoysia grass, whereas we'd have to wait quite a while before.
Okay. Now, the Bermuda grass varieties or cultivars that are seeded, a lot of times it's easy for us to go into a garden center and find Bermuda grass seed. What really does that consist of?
Okay, the Bermuda grass that we would buy from the store from seed would most likely be Arizona commons, such as the Bermuda grass behind us. And we can tell it's Arizona common when we look on the label and there's no cultivar stated, but the location of seed production was in Arizona or California.
Okay, and how is that variety for Oklahoma conditions?
There are more Arizona common material sold than any other Bermuda grass, and as you can see, it produces a satisfactory turf when our winters are not severe, but during severe winters it can winter kill.
Okay, now some other seeded Bermuda varieties are around us. Tell us about the one to your left.
All right, the cultivar to my left is Sun Devil Bermuda grass. It is a brand new seeded Bermuda grass. OSU has not tested it extensively, but it does appear to have adequate winter hardiness to make it in Oklahoma.
Okay.
It is coarse in texture, similar to Guyman Bermuda grass, which we have over to our right.
Okay, and then another seeded variety that is going to come out this year too is what, Cheyenne?
That's right. Cheyenne Bermuda grass is also available this year. It is medium in texture, so it will be finer than Sun Devil or Guyman and will be available as seed as well.
Okay. Now, are all of these pretty readily available? What happens, Dennis, if we go into a garden center and they're not available? How can homeowners get a hold of all the cultivars that we've talked about?
All right. First of all, the demand has to be created for the Bermuda grass material to be available. And if you don't ask specifically for these cultivars, your local merchant may not know that you wish to have them, and they can only afford to stock a certain number of them.
Okay. So going and asking, and there's really a lot of new ones out there, it seems like, that are being released or are going to be. What should a homeowner look for in trying to find the perfect turf grass for their situation?
One of the best things to do first is to really realize the amount of time that it takes to keep a lawn. Most people will pick too fine of a texture of a grass. They should, in general, go for a moderate maintenance lawn, so they should not always choose the finest of texture of grasses. Always choose a very cold hardy grass and one that has spring dead spot resistance in it if one is choosing a Bermuda grass.
Well, Dennis, what about sun and shade considerations in selecting a grass?
All right, Steve, Bermuda grass should only be used in full sun or at the lightest of shades. Now, zoysia can take slightly more shade than Bermuda grass, but it should not be put in a heavy shade.
Okay. And Dennis, you have really given us some good ideas, and it's really exciting to see this many varieties being released, and keep up the good work. And remember, if you go to your garden center and you don't find one of these cultivars, you may have to specifically request before they'll start carrying it. And Dennis, thanks again.
Thank you, Steve.